I'm the most available person ever. He tells me something new each time. So I ask a lot of questions. That's when like curiosity is so important.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the It Tribe. I am your host, Liz Arino, and we are still on the Pushing P movement. Today we have a special guest who will take us through his journey of how he's ventured through life and got himself to the position that he is in. Welcome, Ugo.
Thank you for having me, and I am rather excited to share my journey. And I hope that anyone that's listening that can inspire, that I hope I make a good amount of sense.
How are you?
I'm okay today.
You're okay today.
Yeah,
That sounds very specific.
I'm not okay every day, but today I'm okay.
Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. To break the ice, we're going to do introductory questions. They're kind of fun. Most people actually like them. So between the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, what decade do you love the most and why?
Um, Let me say the 90s because there are a lot of great movies that came from there, like Home Alone. That was like a classic. Parents Trap as well. There are a lot of classic movies, also like cartoons that were like made in the 90s. I think that was just like a nice time to be a kid. So like I'll pick the 90s.
I feel like that's a very interesting take because most people don't really answer it in the perspective of what they've watched or how the childhood experience is. And by I guess I think you like anime, yeah?
100%.
Okay, for a person that doesn't watch anime like me, what is one thing you'd say to convince me per se to watch anime?
There's some like scenes in anime like you literally make your hair stand, and they're like it's so cool. And like when the character is showing that they're standing on business. Like for instance, Gojo. Anyone that like watches like Jujutsu Kaisen, whenever he's on screen and he's like showing off how powerful he is, you literally like you feel his power through the screen, even though he's just an animation. And also like the acting in anime is also like most people like underwrite like how hard it is to be like a voice actor. They think that it's equally as hard as you know physical acting because in this time you're just acting in an empty room. There are no props. You're staring at a microphone and at a glass. So like it's great acting. The storylines are always good. Great character development, and like there's just so much to pick from to watch. Like thousands of anime.
I think it comes with a lot. Like you said, the thought process of even cartoons. Because I think I watched a behind the scenes of someone making just an illustration of a cartoon. And I was just like, that comes with a lot, man. The next segment is lighter. We're going to do this or that questions. I'm pretty sure you've seen them on Instagram. And you answer them really quickly without thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, don't think. And when you find yourself doing, that means you're thinking. So just answer the first thing that comes to your head. Okay? Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Introvert, extrovert.
Extrovert.
Single taken.
Taken.
Sunset, sunrise.
Sunrise.
Stay in, go out.
Stay in.
Respect or power.
Respect.
Loved by all, feared by all.
Loved by all.
Never be able to cry or cry about everything.
Never be able to cry.
Deep thinker or deep feeler.
Deep thinker.
Rain or sunshine.
Rain.
Breakfast or dinner.
Dinner.
Walking or driving.
Driving.
Always late, always early.
Always early.
Summer or winter.
Summer.
Predictability or excitement.
Excitement.
Lose all memories from birth. Unable to make new memories.
Able to make new memories.
Unable to make new memories.
Hey, lose all memories.
Really?
Oh, sorry. Unable to make new memories. Mistake.
Really?
I thought too hard.
I feel like no. The thing is, yeah, it's a very difficult question because lose all memories from birth. That means that you literally finish this podcast. The moment you get up, it's gone.
Hey.
And then unable to make new memories means that everything that you do, there's no surprise to it.
That's a lose-lose situation.
I think that's why it has to come off quick. You're not really supposed to think about it. Okay, so let's get to the nitty gritty of the podcast episode. And how's Chelsea looking like this year?
We're I got punished that team. We're better than last year so far. Or the year before. We're doing okay. We're winning here and there, but we're still shit. But like it's okay.
I feel like you have suffered in the hands of Chelsea. Hey, every day it is you. God punish this team. Every day. There is no day that you wake up and you're like, okay, maybe they are winning small. No, they'll win today, next week they're losing. Ah, are you okay? Like physically, mentally,
I,
emotionally.
I'm trying my hardest to go with that team. I stay up to 12. Like my housemates, he sees me for the past 2 years, been living to me with me, and he sees what I go through, screaming at 1 a.m. Modric, score, please. Yeah, I think that's my worst player at the club. It's just bad.
Would you say that's love or madness?
It's love.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I've been a fan since I was 7. So, and I watch basically, I hardly miss a game. Even if we're losing, I still watch the game. Next match, and I would be excited. Because on the normal match day, if I have work to do, I can't focus. I'm thinking of Chelsea. And I'm just thinking of Chelsea match at night. If I have meetings, I'm thinking of Chelsea. We go, we lose. Rinse and repeat next week and go again.
I'll pray for you. You and your team.
I need it.
You need deliverance. When I was thinking of a guest that their own nature exudes power, I think the first person I thought of was you. I don't know why. I'm not sure if it's because you're basically the easiest person to notice in an environment. Yeah, I don't know, it's maybe your aura or just the person that you are, maybe because you're Nigerian. You never really know, but I feel like you carry yourself in a way that if a person is looking at you intensively, they can see that you carry power in a certain way. Have you ever noticed that about yourself?
No, I haven't. I just like to carry myself in a more, let's say, respectful manner because I try to like show respect to people and also like respect myself. I try to maintain myself in public most times and just try and play it a bit calm. Even though I'm a bit of a joker in most situations. So the exuding power, never noticed it. I think it's just maybe just how I am.
So before we dive into who you are now, let's talk about your background. Give us more insight on what it looked like growing up, where you grew up, where you come from, and the journey it has been from maybe who you could tell stuff. Because I wouldn't say 0 to 5, but like until the moment where you're like, okay, now I can understand what's going on. Who is Ugo?
Okay, firstly, family of 5. I have 2 siblings, an older sister and an older brother. So growing up, we're great siblings. We're good siblings. We weren't too distant from each other because the age groups are not, our ages aren't too far apart. So I'm 23, my brother's 25, and then my sister is turning 29. So 5 and 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the gap isn't like that serious. And growing up, I grew up in let's say, a serious family. So where my parents always wanted their children to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So that means like I've had no choice but to always be good at school. I know some
Mm.
people say they're not good at school, but I've had no choice because I come from a family of achievers. Sister, great achiever. Brother, great achiever. So growing up, I've always had immediate people that I can look up to, and I can always say, I just want to try and follow and try to be like them.
Yeah.
They're always there to help. This is why I say like we come from a serious family, meaning that we've never been the kind to rebel against our parents. Of course, as my parents say, "Hey, dad, you're that kind of dad that you came back late from work." No. To summarize it, I matured very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. I think before the age of 13, I knew that you have to take charge of your life.
Mm-hmm.
That your father is not going to be here, forever.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother is not going to be here forever. Your parents, they go through things that they
Mm-hmm.
don't tell you. So from the age of 13, I was already relating with my dad on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
So where he could tell me anything he was going through, he could say it, and my dad wouldn't feel anything. He could say it in front of us because we matured quickly in
Mm-hmm.
the family. So I grew up in a family that was, I say, close and serious, and we all knew that we needed to take charge and don't just be like a dad used to, like you're in your mid 20s and then you're figuring out what am I going to do with my life
Mm-hmm.
or whatnot. So I grew up in a very serious family. You have to get your good grades, be serious about your career,
Mm-hmm.
be serious about your life. Don't just be a degenerate. Be serious. And I like to have fun. If
Mm-hmm.
you know me, I like to have fun. But most people don't know that I also have a serious side to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hidden because I don't really put it out there a lot. So I go from like there's time for the social aspect of life,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the time where you have to take charge. Because if you don't take charge of your life, soon enough you're not going to be able to maintain that social aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're crying for money to pay your bills, you're crying for money to buy your shots at the club, so you have to take charge of your life. And I came from a family that motivated me to do just that.
Mm-hmm. You said that your dad and you were able to relate on a more personal level. Do you think that is something that was cultivated within the family structure? Like out of because for you to mature early, it means that you were exposed to certain stuff early.
Yeah.
What was the kind of relationship that you saw was built in your family structure that engineered the kind of system that you have now?
Firstly, my dad is an honest man. I
Mm.
think that's just it. He's never been the kind to want to hide everything from his children. So if he's trying to do something, he would say it to us. If like there's any, let's per se, difficulty, anything that is a business deal that he's trying to do
Mm-hmm.
that might not be working, he will say it, or my mother will say it. My mother, she's a bit of a talker, so she doesn't keep secrets. So she always says it. So like there's hardly anything that would go on that either my sister would not know because she's the oldest definitely,
Mm-hmm.
but we would always know. And my sister as well, she could tell us, or my brother, he could tell us. So we just come from a family where like we share stuff and then we know how to share the burden per se, or don't just be understanding when you're maybe making requests per
Yeah,
se. Yeah, so that's what I would say about that.
I think that's a really good point because how how the internet works these days and the stories that you see people share about their parents are so wild because it's just like, do you understand like the kind of struggles your parents could be going through at that point in time? Because like I tell my siblings as well, every parent is a human being. And just because they're your parent, that doesn't mean that they don't go through life. And that doesn't mean that they don't respond to life. And they just do the best that they can with what they have. So, what was it like growing up in Nigeria? Like the schools you went to and what you studied?
One thing my dad always decided to do was he was never going to cut back on the kind of formative education he gave to us.
Mm-hmm.
So in the first place I went to like primary school. It was the best primary school in the state.
Mm-hmm.
For like it was a Catholic. He's always insisted that Catholic education
Yeah.
at your formative year. It might be strict, but like it's kind of the best in
Mm-hmm.
order to like keep your child intact up
Did
to
it
like
work?
yeah, yeah, I would like to believe that it works.
Yeah.
So went to Catholic primary school, it was good. Then secondary school, my sister went to an all girls school, but I and my brother we went to the top academic school in the country,
Mm-hmm.
which is like this top school for like the smartest kids basically, where
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to get into like the school because I remember the entrance exam, the reading test. You have like a reading test and
Mm-hmm.
writing test, which is like almost SAT level. So you have to study for it.
Mm-hmm.
So like for the exam, I studied for it for about a year. Or like
What?
to get into the school, you study for it for about a year, and it's
Damn.
difficult. Like you have like riddles, mind. They just want to make sure that the students that are getting into the school are like the top, and they're only taking about 100 students a year.
What?
Yeah, in a
So
set
thousands of people are studying for the same
thousands of
exam.
students, and only six. The maximum amount is because there's 6 years in the school. The
Yeah.
maximum amount of students in the school, they cap it at like 600, 650. So they never have more than that. So
Wow.
it's really exclusive to get into, and it's also expensive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So like you went to the same school with your brother.
Yeah, I and my brother we've gone to the same school everywhere.
Did you always feel like there was a sense of comparison in that, or it was just normal?
I look up to my brother, so I've
Mm-hmm.
never ever compared myself against my brother.
Yeah.
I look up to my brother that if he's doing good, tell me how you did it. So
Mm-hmm.
I ask my brother a lot of things. Like sometimes like any problem, I just say, hey bro, do you know how to do this? Like I look up to my brother, so I don't really compare myself against anybody
Yeah.
because I think that I'm fine just the way I am.
Yeah.
And if I see somebody that's per se doing better, I just ask them for, how do you do this? Is
Yeah.
there a way for me to get there?
Yeah.
If there's no like clear path, then you can maybe figure out a way that you set yourself on that path. And if it's not for you, you can sit back and figure out your own journey yourself.
Yeah. I think the reason why I asked that question is because I also went to the same school with my brother until uni. That was when we were like, okay, now we're tired. Because we all wanted different experiences because we had the same friends since primary. And you find that most times people used to compare me with him. And unlike your brother, me and him were very different. So you find that in classes, everyone will be like, ah, you see your brother's doing this, or you see your brother's doing that. And I was not the smartest kid. I would rather take me to a debate class or anything co-curricular, but don't put me in an actual class. So was there like an instance where that happened where other people compared you with him, or it was just normal for you?
No, obviously there have been instances,
Yeah.
but they never affect me
Mm-hmm.
because you're comparing me to him, and at the same time I'm looking up to him. So it's
Okay.
more of a comparison. You're just telling me good stuff about my brother, which it makes me feel good. So it's not like to me it's not a comparison. It just gives me another avenue like how much more I can look up to my older brother.
Yeah.
So it's not for me. I don't see it as anything.
I never really thought about it like that. I mean, I never really liked the teachers that used to compare me, but I just never really thought about it like that. Okay, so what were your hobbies growing up, aside from the fact that, you had to study? What else did you engage in when it came to
um,
school?
I'm a great. I play a lot of table tennis, and I'm really good.
Okay.
So that was like one of my gold medals several times.
Mm,
Best. I even taught my brother how to play. I was the one that taught my older brother how to play table
mm,
tennis. And we play obviously play a lot of football and stuff. Yeah, I read a lot as a kid, like a crazy amount of books. So I read a lot, and I'm actually currently trying to get back into the habit of reading again because I feel like I've lost that in my life, and right now I'm currently reading a lot of fiction. I'm reading Percy Jackson, trying to just get back
mm,
into that my foreign Greek mythology
mm-hmm.
phase and Roman mythology. Like after I'm done with Percy Jackson, I'm going to read the King Chronicles, and then I start looking for more stuff to read. I just want to pour in as many books
Yeah.
as I can in my free time rather than spending on my phone and stuff. So like that's why I got like a tablet just for reading.
Wow. But why don't you just buy an actual book?
The books here are like English copies are not too easy to come by,
Yeah,
and I was thinking about shipping on like eBay and Amazon.
yeah,
So that's going to just give me a lot more costs. And
sure.
I just get it on my tablet for free.
Yeah. I think reading is very important. I feel like the more the days go by, the less people read. And it's getting to the point where I was trying to type something and I couldn't remember the word, like how you spell it, because we are so used to autocorrect. So now I'm writing and even autocorrect can't help me because I'm so off. And that was when I think that was like a year ago. That was when I started and I was like, you know what, Liz, it's time to start reading. So I try and read like different stuff, articles on LinkedIn and just books. But one thing I found with reading is I think you pack your brain a lot, especially if you're not using the information. And I think that's why fiction is so important because all these nonfiction books, hey God, self improvement this, self improvement that, self all of them. If you decide to read all of them, you will just be a walking library and you will never use any of the things that you read in the books. So the next part that we're gonna talk about is your teen years. Because there are some people that are gonna listen to this and they're teenagers. What is a pivotal moment that happened to you in your teen years that you felt like when you think about it right now, you can say, yep, that was what shaped my mindset as a person. Because it's easy when you're like um 10 for your parents to tell you what to do. But when you get to your teen years, now you kind of have the awareness to know that this is my life. Some people rebel. Some people rebel later on in life, or some people just don't rebel. Like they just follow what their parents says and they believe and they just move on with life. So what was it like for you?
Personally, it's going to sound weird, but I before I was a teenager, I had already like known that I need to be serious, and that's because when I was 11 or so,
Mm,
my best friend he passed away, and
mm,
so we already best friend that you're talking about the future with like first year of high school, he
yeah,
passes away from asthma. So from there, like you just have this realization that like life is tiny, so you need to do what you're meant to do. So that's why I keep on saying that I kind of had to mature really
early.
early. I was mature very early, so I was self-aware of my life because
Mm-hmm.
most teenagers per se, they're not self-aware of their life until most people until your final year of high school,
Mm-hmm.
or in some crazy cases, your final people are not self-aware of their life until your final year of university.
Final year. Until you receive those grades. Some people until 25.
They're not self-aware of their life. And what I mean by self-aware is you don't know that nobody is going to pave your life for you.
Mm.
Nobody is going to apply for a job for you
Mm.
unless you have nepotism running the club. But that's not always the case. For people that don't have that severe amount of nepotism,
Mm-hmm.
you need to take charge of your life. And immediately you take charge of your life doesn't mean it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're taking charge of your life at 25, you're going to have like a year of failure or 2 years of failure. Before I'm just going to be honest. So that's why you take charge of your life as early as possible and start putting your hands dipping your hands in several stuff. That's what I can say.
From what you said, what's like a valuable lesson that you learned that was so challenging that you can share?
The lesson that I'll probably say that I learned in my teenage life is what I've just really said is that you need to do stuff. Don't wait for somebody to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do your own stuff yourself.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to be there and tell you. You can have people that urge you on, but
Mm-hmm.
to actually execute your stuff yourself, you have to do it yourself. At the end of the day, it's only you. Even if somebody tries to guide you, as much as they're guided, they can never actually stand in your shoes
And
and
executing.
execute it for you. You have to do that yourself.
Okay, so let's move to the second segment, which is your education and work experience. You studied at LU
Yeah.
in Mauritius, and you did which course?
I did computer science.
What was it like, especially coming from Nigeria to
It
Mauritius?
wasn't that insane to me. But it was the first time I was in the midst of like people of different cultures per se.
Yeah.
I'll never forget like one of my first nights. I was with my friend, the fellow Nigerian, and with some Ghanaians. And then he asked them, "Oh, yo, do you guys speak Ghanaian?" And like, I was like one of the funniest things ever. And they were so offended. They were really
Yeah,
offended.
it's very offensive.
Yeah. So like from that is when like I knew that that culture shift, knowing that you're amongst different people,
Mm-hmm.
different cultures, different sexualities,
Mm.
different religions. So you need to be careful
Mm.
about the way you relate with other people. So like that's one thing that I can say is really different.
Yeah. So how did you come about choosing computer science?
That's the only place I fit in because you can take your subjects in high school
Mm-hmm.
and you figure out which is like comes easy for you.
Yeah.
Because at first I wanted to be into like petroleum engineering
Okay.
and chemistry just wasn't working it out for me.
Okay.
That was my worst subject. I was so bad at chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I used to fail it woefully without a chance. Like I just was not good. So I sometimes like when it was time for exams, I didn't bother reading for like chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't bother because like I knew there was no chance, there was no point in me reading because
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't understand this. I was just like dedicate my time to try and make up my average in other subjects. So in high school you have 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and in our school we had something called the honors roll. So like the top 20 out of like the set, the top 10 they get on the honors roll
Yeah.
after like an assessment period or like an exam, and then the 11 to 20 they're on the merits.
Yeah.
So those top 20 were like the smartest people in the grade,
Yeah.
and I was never on that list for my first 2 years because of chemistry. Because my
Mm.
average in chemistry used to be like in the 40s if I was lucky.
Yeah.
40s, 50s. If God decides to bless me, I got like the 61s. I don't know how, and that's because we had like a lot of assignments take home instead of writing the exams in the
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
So I had like a friend that could help me.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got to like our third year of high school, where like you drop the subjects you don't like,
Mm-hmm.
chemistry was the first thing I kicked out of that place.
Oh.
I kicked it out. I kept my data processing. I kept my computer science.
Yeah.
I kept my physics, math, the others. My first ever, I don't know for the first ever assessment, I was eighth in the year just by removing chemistry. So like, I knew that was what was holding me. So if I was
Mm.
never first, I would have had a much, much better average. So, and just from that, knowing that I was good at, computer science, I was good at data processing, and I also just good at like the technical aspects of
Yeah.
it. I was good at the theoretical aspect and actually understanding how these machines work,
Yeah.
how they work, why they work, and why they exist. So like I knew that that was what I wanted to get into, and I just decided to take it up and study computing as well.
That's really good. I think the point that I actually find fascinating in what you said was that you knew chemistry was not part of your calling, because sometimes some people force things. Like, I knew I never liked chemistry from the word go. The moment they started teaching atoms, I was like, I am out. So the first chance I got to just drop that subject, I did it so quickly. I think it was like 2 months after, because I joined the school in January. By March, they were choosing subjects, and I was like, chemistry, you're out. So some people just stick to one thing because that's what they think it should be. And down the line is when you discover that, damn, this is not really what is meant for me, because it comes with a lot. And if you want to do anything that's in engineering or even medicine, you need to know chemistry. And just the acceptance that, in as much as I like this, it may not really work is very important. We're going to talk about your work experiences,
Yeah.
because you started, like you said, you started computer and data really early. And I noticed from your bunch of experiences, I repeat, bunch of experiences, that you've been mostly in the field of data
Yeah.
from the get go.
Yeah. So starting from the beginning, my first ever job
Mm-hmm.
per se, or
Mm-hmm.
internship,
Mm-hmm.
was as a data analyst.
Yeah.
Every single role I've ever been in has been about, it just has something to do with data. And that's just where like I know that I'm meant to be in. Because the thing about data is transforming let's say the unknown so into the known. And
Yeah.
I can start breaking it down, but I can use some of my experiences as an example. So my first ever experience, I was a data analyst for a startup called Itina Logic. I don't even know if they closed down.
Mm.
But basically, I had to do some research
Mm.
on and then write an article based on that research.
Mm.
So I was there taking surveys from people, analyzing data, crunching the numbers. It
Mm.
was really like the basic entry for data analysis,
Yeah.
the basic entry. But like it was what like took me in. And then I wrote an article, I published it, they paid me for it, and then I was good. That was like I was still I think I was 18 then,
Yeah.
18 or 17, one of them. But then I had like another role for like a company in Senegal,
Yeah.
in Dakar. I was actually, let's say, the head of partnerships
Yeah.
for like a company. Although like that title doesn't really scream data, but I
Mm.
was also dealing with a lot of data there, a lot of customer data.
Yeah.
So what we have to build like a database, like a large pool of potential customers, divide them by like do some segmentation
Mm-hmm.
based on like their industry. So there's a lot of analysis there as well.
Yeah.
Their market values, their recent funding. So we know those that those that have the cheese, that
Yeah.
have the money. So there's a lot of research and data entry that we need to do there, that we needed to do there as well.
Yeah.
So like data there as well. Then I was a residential advisor
Yeah.
at AOE. There wasn't really that was more of like social stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of like student life. But like the role, the transformative role that actually like pushed me into data is my current full time role at Sun Technologies.
Mm.
So Sun Technologies, we own ALX Africa is under Sun Technologies. So that is they provide educational courses, and on that team I work on the data.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of work to do, and that is people take educational courses on Udacity.
Yeah.
For instance, people take those courses on Canvas, take it on Coursera, for instance.
Yeah.
So what the data team needs to do is there are people that manage these courses, they are program managers, product managers,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to see how are those people in our courses? What are they doing? What
Mm.
are their performances like? How are they engaging in the course? So the job is you're going to transfer the data from Canvas, Coursera, or Udacity,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're going to have to pull the data in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of technical things that go
Yeah.
into it,
Yeah.
and then you have to show the business that data in like a clean way, an insightful manner, where they can then make like their
Business
decisions
decisions.
based on
Yeah.
that. So, for instance, I had a project that I recently finished where my job was basically to build a dashboard for students in a course. And there you have to do some what we call data modeling. And what data modeling means is that we basically use structured query language
Mm-hmm.
to clean up the data and model the data in a way that it is consistent.
Yeah.
It's a lot more technical than I say.
You know, I get what you
It's a
mean.
lot more. You have to model it in a way that is consistent and it stays relevant
Mm.
for the next 5 years. You don't need to touch that piece of code. You don't need to edit anything in it. So as long as any data comes from that course, it will stay consistent forever. As long as they don't go and change the name of the course or something like that. So
Mm.
we model the data, and then the final product is normally like a user-facing end, which is a dashboard,
Yeah.
which you can publish like the student scores in charts in a table where they can make their exports
Mm.
and whatever and whatever. And what's so cool about this is that we're literally one of the most important teams in the organization because
Yeah.
our CEO says that any decision that he ever wants to make, he never makes a decision out of the blue. He will always say, find me some data that backs this before I make a decision. So, for instance, I'll give an instance, and I was the one that actually drove this decision. If there weren't a lot of females participating in the software engineering program, they weren't
Okay.
finishing the program.
Mm.
And then he's like, I need answers. Why?
Why?
So then what happens is that this comes down to me. So we have to look at the demographics of like the females that enter the program.
Mm.
And then you find out that a lot of them they're employed. So they're taking
Mm.
this part time. They are married. So
Okay.
there's a likelihood that they have children as well.
Mm.
And then we present this to him that this is what's going on with the women that enter our program. So then what he says is that we're going to have a female only cohort, right?
Yeah.
And then the pace of this cohort is going to be slower. So basically, the females are going to have more time to take on the program and hopefully then graduate from the program.
Yeah.
And so that's like one of like the cool things about my job is that you get to give people an avenue to make decisions that can then impact people, in a nice way.
Yeah.
So there are women that have been struggling to complete the program before, but now because of that, they're not going to struggle anymore. They're going to have more time to complete the program. I can also use one of my current freelance experience. So since March 2023, I've been freelancing for FastGen, which is a new startup that actually launched in March 2023.
Okay.
It's based in California, Silicon Valley. It's a Silicon Valley company. Recently, or backed by Y Combinator. Yeah, Y Combinator is like one of the most popular startup incubators. I think Airbnb went through there as well. I'm not too sure. Airbnb, Uber, but most of them always go through Y Combinator.
Yeah.
So I work as a freelancer for them. If you ask me exactly what I do, I cannot say because I do a bunch of stuff because it's a startup. Startups are like, put your fingers wherever you can work. And I always say, like, if you want to test your ability to work, right, go and work in a startup. Because if you work in an organization like Google, for instance, although I've never worked there, and it's one of my goals to work at a big tech company. But I've spoken to people that say, like, if you work in an organization like Google, you're not going to get any better in your career. You're going to get better at being a Google employee.
Okay.
You're going to get better at being an Amazon employee.
Yeah.
You're going to get better at being a Microsoft employee.
Yeah.
Because they're already set up. They have their systems in place. There's nothing that's being figured out on the spot or whatnot. You're just going and you're having a routine.
Yeah.
Because you're hardly building new products. You're just maintaining and going with the flow. So you're going to become a better Google employee. And there's so many people I've read that say I have to leave the company because
I've seen that a lot. I've seen
I
that
felt
a
like
lot.
I was just becoming a better Googler and it wasn't really, serving me properly.
Yeah.
So at FastGen is basically, if I want to summarize the company quickly, it's a no-code back-end workflow builder. So if basically you have like an app and you want to build a back-end, but you don't use a bunch of code, you can literally use FastGen, drag and drop, do some customizations, connect it by an whatever. Let me not go to technical. Connect it by an API, or if you can have a custom integration, and then you have the back end for your application. So it's for mostly, let's say, small businesses that want to automate their processes, right? but you don't want to go hire a developer to build you and overcharge you. And it's also like a pay as you use.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is I'm working basically, so I work directly with the CEO. We're
Yeah.
trying to find out how we can push the product more.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also like there's a tool called Flutter Flow, for instance,
Yeah.
which is for front end mobile apps.
Yeah.
So what we do is that I could go to Flutter Flow, build like an app on Flutter Flow, build the back end for Flutter Flow, and then we can make a video on that and say, hey guys, this is what is possible by FastGen.
Mm.
And then we can also like publish the link to like our work. Somebody else can take that and customize it. So we're trying to push the product, and we're also like doing like a fast gen library where we build different stops, different like backend examples, and like hope like just we have a we call it fast gen university,
Yeah.
where like customers can go there and they can see what the tool can do. Then you also have to like interact with some customers, help them with their onboarding
Mm-hmm.
onto the tool, because somebody with zero technical skills,
Yeah.
you can't really just jump into FastGen and be able to do everything. Although like there's some like the AI assistants now that are integrated now that you can just type, hey, I need code to do this and to do that for you.
Yeah.
But AI is never like 100% always correct,
Mm-hmm.
because you need to be able to give it what to tell you exactly. Sometimes like you wouldn't understand properly. I
Yeah.
might give you something that's a bit correct. So that's for like my experience at FastGen. So like in all projects, all my experiences, I love data.
Yeah.
And right now, I started as an analyst, but I've kind of transitioned out of like the scope of an analyst, because
Mm.
I feel like being an analyst, I got too used to it. I had done everything there was to an analyst. I'd worked in statistics projects.
Yeah.
I had worked on analyzing crazy ton of data.
Yeah.
I had done all that. So now I told like the manager, hey, I feel like I'm a bit stagnated in my growth. I want to be writing a lot more code. And
Okay.
this was actually last year. And they're like, okay, cool. That's when I started working on, data modeling. So I'm trying to move my way up in the data space. So like kind of right now I'm working on with like business intelligence. So say that's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to start going to the details
Yeah.
of it. And then I want to probably like in a couple years, I want to end up in a full data engineer. That's like
Data scientist.
no, a data engineer. I don't the
There's
data
something like that?
Yeah, a data engineer is much more different. So that you can be a data engineer, you can be a data analyst, you can be a data scientist, you can be a business intelligence architect, you
Yeah.
can be a business intelligence engineer. So there's so many aspects, but I have dealt in the scope of an analyst, a business intelligence engineer, and a business intelligence analyst. So my scope is, coming up, and
Mm.
that's like one of my career goals to, work my way up, gain this skill, conquer it, go on.
Mastery.
Yeah, just keep on going.
Mastery. That's very wow. That's very wow. I don't even know what to say. Like there's something that you said that I feel like people need to highlight, that is, until you go and tell your manager and confidently stand in front of them and tell them, bro or sir or madam, you need to be professional. Um, I need something more challenging. It means you know your stuff. Like if I wake you up tomorrow morning and tell you, hey Ugo, there's this problem, solve it. It means you wake up and you'll solve it. And that's mastery at its finest, because you have to do it and do it and do it and expose yourself to different scenarios for you to say that you've mastered something. Like now, how many things have you done in the same line of work or in the same field of work that you can be like, I've worked in that, I've covered that, I've done that, and I've done that. Okay, so let me actually, break it down. I like to list things for people so you can put it into perspective, right? You said you've worked as a data analyst, residential advisor, head of partnerships and business developer, data analyst and automation, professional freelancer, data analyst. I think I'm forgetting one.
That should be
That's five.
yeah.
In how many years?
I turned 23 last no in December, so in about 4 5 years.
In 4 years, five jobs. Can you no, the thing is, I don't think people put these things into perspective, right? Because the expectation of any single person that gets into data is it will take you a long enough time, right? And we've seen it over the years where people talk, when you're stepping into data, they're like, just take it easy, learn from people, this and this and that. But then you took it head on. Yes, there's like you started off learning from high school and stuff like that. But the data that you do in high school is not the same that you find in the workplace. It's completely different. The theory and the application are two different things. And for you to work in 5 jobs and in your fifth job, you tell your manager that, sir, I want to upscale, that's crazy. You ever thought about that?
Um, no, not really. The thing is, I like to contribute, and one of the reasons like why I actually wanted to like get into the more aspect of writing code is because I wasn't contributing to like our code base on GitHub. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I didn't feel nice not like contributing to anything to the code.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him, I was like, you know what, I really want to because even though I'm like at the entry level now, but I don't know if I'm still at first. I got a promotion on my birthday, so I don't think I have anything. I got a
Ah.
promotion last year. Yeah, I was
Ah.
going to do so I'm not too sure.
Ah.
So I don't know where I stand right now. But I'll figure that out like within the year. So I like to contribute and I like to feel like and I feel very excited when I do something like some kind of work. I
Mm.
feel very excited when like I get like a PR merged or whatever into the master branch.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like my senior has approved my code. It makes me happy.
Mm.
Like it gives me real joy when somebody says, "Good job,"
Mm.
celebratory emoji,
Mm.
"Thank you, Hugo." And one thing that my teammates say about me sometimes is that I'm the most available person ever. Meaning that like on Slack, we use Slack for like work.
Yeah, yeah.
I reply messages once you type, I reply immediately. And a lot of people ask me for like help with some stuff.
Yeah.
I like to always help people with stuff, even if I don't know how to do it. Because there's one thing that I say, one of my talents, right? I must have the like most gifted person technically. But one thing I know how to do is I know how to do stuff. Meaning that I know how to enter something and find a way to do it.
Mm.
Even if I have no clue,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find no matter what. I will always say it. I will always figure it out. Like I mean, my housemate right here. He sits in beside me. So
Mm.
like there's sometimes like I have like for instance for fashion, I have like a board I'm trying to fix, and for days because I'm trying to like before I start working on like an automation, I need to think of like the logic, how the flow chart is going to look
Yeah.
like. And the problem is not that I don't know how to write the code. It's very simple. I know how to write it.
Yeah.
But the problem is the logic.
Mm.
Sometimes I could call into my room and I go, what do you think about what's the problem with this logic? I spend hours, sometimes days,
Mm.
struggling on the problem. And one thing, I will not sleep well until I've done that thing. So I might not know how to do it, but I know at the end of the day, figure
It
that
will
thing.
be done.
It will be done. That's just it. Like that's why people I'm like, guys, you can rely on me. Just know that I will do it. If I get stuck, I will go and find someone that knows how to do it. And at the
Mm.
end, I will still do it. That's my talent. I know how to get stuff done. So like it's what has actually helped me a lot. And it's why because in December I got a promotion,
Mm.
but I did not ask for a promotion.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I did not ask for a promotion. It
Mm-hmm.
was out of the blue because I was just recognized out of the blue because our annual reviews happen in February.
Yeah.
So like I'm going through an annual review now where you can then get promoted. But this review was from like the vice president of people operations or whatnot.
Yeah.
That they just had to do it based on like you're just getting too many stuff done. Because my manager is looking because I'm in the engineering team. So when the manager wants to like when he wants to access people, so
Mm-hmm.
we tech team people we work on what you call tickets. So like we use like project management software.
Yeah.
So you're assigned to a ticket.
Yeah.
So like it could be a bug fix, it could be a dashboard, it could be a bit of code you need to write.
Mm-hmm.
So he sees like how like and he's a bit confused because I'm meant to be like one of the junior members of the team.
Yeah.
But then you're clearing out tickets as
I
quick as
see.
faster than the seniors. Because
Hmm.
I have a friend in the team, we're both juniors, and then we're clearing out tickets so quickly, and then he doesn't have a choice but to, motivate you. They call it motivate you for like a promotion or something like
Yeah.
that. Because if somebody isn't rewarded for their good deeds, then their motivation, their ginger, we call it ginger,
Maslow
their
hierarchy.
ginger can die or whatnot.
Mm.
So it's just what keeps me driving because I just like getting my stuff done, and I like to take. I try to take work a bit serious most times.
A bit.
Very serious, actually.
Thank
I'm not
you.
lying.
Because I was like, five. Five. But yeah, that's very impressive, man. Congratulations. No, for real. I'm not saying that to add, content to the work.
No,
Like,
no.
I genuinely mean it because I worked as a data analyst training, data analyst for a textile company, and it was not a joke because the things that are involved in just the whole thing, because I was learning while doing, and it's like, it's not an easy thing. And for you to have mastered the things in and out, case by case, and you've done it, it's very impressive because, hey, like you said, you have to have a certain drive and mindset to do what you do because you can't be spending maybe 20% or 30% of your day, maybe, okay, let's say 20% of your day, I don't know math, guys, 20% of your day sleeping, and then the rest is probably spent on eating and scrolling your whole day, and you expect for things to happen. That means that from the get go, you need to understand this is what Ugo is doing and this is what Ugo is gonna get to, that type of thing. And it calls for like celebration because it's like, I don't know, man. I don't even know what I was doing when you were starting to do data analysis and getting paid, to be fair, to be quite honest.
Nah, I started my full time role I started working for this company August 2022, right? Yeah,
Mm.
2022 in the summer. So I hadn't even graduated yet. So I had submitted my dissertation beginning of August,
Yeah.
and the next week I started work.
So how
So
do you get this job?
see one thing about me in life. I tell everybody I'm lucky. No, let me not call it luck. Let me say I'm blessed.
Mm.
I was recommended. Somebody they were looking for a guy, and he's like, I know someone. He's finishing school. He's available to start work next week.
Is that someone like on LinkedIn or your friend?
No, he's my. Should I call him my mentor? He's somebody that just knows me personally,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then he saw like he's somebody that he knows that was they needed somebody, and he
Yeah.
recommended me. And then my freelance role, they reached out to me on LinkedIn. They're like, we're looking for someone that can do this. We searched for like the criteria. Your profile fits us, and the team were a very little company. I think less than 10. But I'm the only freelancer. I'm also the only black. But like it's cool. Have nice teammates there. Like a
Yeah.
bunch of them watch anime. I even talk anime with the CEO. They also like Formula One fans. So everyone's cool. They'll do like a very fast paced company because
Yeah.
it's a startup and all. And in Silicon Valley, you need to take your stuff really seriously.
Mm-hmm. So, as a data person, what would you advise other people that are thinking of stepping into the same field? Because I think you did a seminar or a webinar recently, and you're basically talking about the same thing. So,
Um, I did like a talk in Lagos to like there was a lot of people, but I tried my hardest. But like the most important piece of advice I gave to them and what like they appreciated was that I told them that like data isn't like other like aspects of computer science.
mm-hmm.
I told them that the most important thing isn't knowing how to do something, right? I told them is knowing what to do. I
Mm-hmm.
told them knowing what to do rather than knowing how to do something. And I'll give like a quick example. I might go a bit technical here, but forgive me. So the thing about data is that most companies right now use cloud-based storage,
Yeah.
and it's not free. You're
Mm-hmm.
paying for that. You're gonna pay either Microsoft, Google, or Amazon. These are like the big cloud providers,
Yeah.
and you also pay for like because you're processing also. You're not like running like code on your computer. You're running it on their servers.
Yeah.
You're also paying for that. So I'm going to give like a quick example what I mean by knowing what to do before knowing how to do something. So for instance, you're using the SQL language and you have to write some code that when a user clicks a button, they want to see all their customers in a particular city, segregated by age, whatever
Yeah, yeah.
graphics. In SQL, you can write that code in 5 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It will still work and it will still give you the exact same damn result.
Yeah.
But the problem there, why I said you should know what to do is five of those code, one can run in zero point 0.1 seconds, one can run in 0.3 seconds, another one could go run in 1 second, but they're all giving you the same result.
Yeah.
But now the problem is the one that runs in 0.1 second is faster. It will cost less to run. So imagine you're running that bit of code 1,000 times per day, and then you route it in the way that takes a second. Your system is going to get clogged up in due time and it will cost you more. So if you focus on saying, no, I just want to know how to write a code that will extract this amount of people, you're not going to know the fundamentals, right? You're going to be able to do it. Sure, if you ask you to take an exam, you take an exam, you get the answers correct. But it's not optimized. And that's why I say you should know what to do. And that is, in the first place, you should optimize it. You should make sure it's cost effective. You should do some testing on it. And you should understand the theory of data. Because at the end of the day, you are serving business.
Yeah.
You're enabling people to make decisions. That's like the whole point of data.
Yeah.
Is to help people make decisions. Every algorithm, like recommending like when you open like your Amazon or something where you're recommending stuff to you, it's based on your previous searches, it's based on your data.
Yeah.
There's data scientists that do stuff with that.
Yeah.
So the aim of data is to enable people to make decisions. So that's why you don't really play around with something like that and not make it effective. So you should understand the theoretical aspects before understanding the technical aspects. Because we do something like I read a book called like Architectural of Databases per se. And you can set up like a data warehouse and you could set it up, data is pouring in. In 1 month, the data warehouse, it's the CPU power is not enough to even run like a simple query. Why? Because when you're setting up, you know the fundamentals.
Yeah.
And the fundamentals include something like I'm going to do
Yeah.
You could include normalizing your data, cleaning it, deduplicating and stuff like that. So that's why I say like you can know how to set up a database. Cool. But to know how to set it up in the best possible way, you need to know what to do before you know how to do it. So that's the advice I gave to them. That's all I can say from my rather, I wouldn't say long ass career, but it's one thing that I will always like keep at the back of my mind.
Yeah. That ties similarly to what I tell people. I mean, one of the things I've learned from working in different roles and being exposed to data and around people that know more about data than I do is it's not about what you know, it's about how you manipulate what you know. Because there are certain problems I could solve for somebody in the line of data that they may not think about it because they are mostly thinking about it from a very practical standpoint. And I'm thinking about it from the most basic level of data and coding that I know and the theoretical part of business. Because I tell people, any person that's hiring you is not looking at what you give them. They're looking at how you're solving a business problem for them, right? And it's like any business's purpose is to make profit. So at the end of the day, you that is applying for this job, you need to be thinking as a person, what can I do to help this person advance their business? And most of the time, I don't think people think about that. Because, like, if someone goes through your LinkedIn, they'll probably see that, oh, you've worked for this. And they dismiss sometimes the fact that you've gotten certain certifications for what you do because you have to understand what you do first. Like how this person got to this job is not necessarily just based off of the university they went to or the jobs that you think they got. Because even the job for you to be recognized or for somebody to check your portfolio and say, hey, I want to hire you, it means that they have a certain level of confidence in who you are. And the only way that someone can be confident in anything that you can do for them, because people don't play around with their money, especially CEOs, is your credibility as a person. And like, let's dive down to your certifications. Did you get them while you were working, or it's something that you just took interest in and that's where you did it?
Um, the ones that I have, I actually got them way before I started working, and I'm currently just taking. No, I'm not really taking a heavy on certification. I'm doing personal learning on myself. Actually, I'm actually sorry. I'm taking a course, and for me, I'm not a certificate guy because I'm on the job kind of person.
Mm,
Because I feel like the thing with certifications is after you're done with it and you don't put it to use, it's just like you're just gonna go out the window.
yeah,
So that's why like I prefer to like just put me in a project and then start. I think my certification is actually in the projects, not
yeah,
in like we have like a project I worked on with my friend which is on GitHub for
yeah,
instance. So like that's like probably kind of like my first. It's a data engineering project.
yeah,
So I think that's like my first certification. And my other ones, like just minor ones from Sarah. Although like they're not taking out it's a really long one, so probably like a year to finish or something like that.
mm,
So I haven't even finished it. I can put in my hours and able to finish it. But like it's always important to have like a showcase of your knowledge, which is preferably in the form of projects, which is like something that you taking a certificate, you gain some knowledge,
mm,
but you need to have put that to use in some form or manner. You
mm,
can't just say that you wrote a multiple choice objective of
mm.
data analysis and then you say data analysis. That doesn't make any sense. You need to showcase that you've actually done something that is actually relevant to the career field or something like that.
Yeah, there's someone that, yeah, I had a conversation with that we're talking about basically the same thing, where no, it doesn't matter where you learn it sometimes because people learn stuff on YouTube. The question is, how far can you go? Because he said he had to take a test on one interview, an actual test of writing an SQL query of how to manipulate data and how to generate stuff according to what the business requires. And that's quite fascinating. So we're about to end, and we're gonna ask you your personal interests. So what is go on about aside from IT and
Um,
anime?
what do I do? I'm a rather like, let's say, single. What do I do? Play football. I hang out with my friends a lot. I stay at home a lot actually.
Yeah,
And right now I'm like doing a lot of reading. So my personal interests are like I like a lot of fiction books. Football. Obsessed with football. I wouldn't say I'm a gamer, although like I do have a PlayStation, but I don't really play that much anymore. I bought it when I was obsessed with like Hogwarts Legacy, this new game. I didn't even get to finish it.
mm-hmm.
I got bored of it. I don't have like a crazy amount of it in my personal interest. You mentioned them by saying anime, like that like cut out like 50% of it. So you're giving me very little to work with here.
Yeah. I saw something on your LinkedIn, and you mentioned it earlier about working for Nigeria in your first job. And I read your article, which is quite impressive, you know. And it was talking about youth unemployment in Nigeria. Would you like to talk more about that, considering the time that you wrote the article and where it is currently?
But I told you that I remember exactly what I wrote. I'm not going to go on it. I don't remember. I've not read that article in about 5 years now,
Yeah.
or 4 years. But I know like the whole, yeah, there was something that, because I spent a lot of time doing research. I think I spent about 2 months.
Yeah.
I had to go out to the streets and just meet random people
Yeah.
and get to talk to them. And I was seeing people that were way because that time I was still 18. So people that were like in the 28,
Yeah.
they're talking to me about how they tried so hard.
Mm.
Like they've gone for so many fake interviews that they show up there and then the person interviewing them is asking them to pay before they're moving on to like the actual interview.
Yeah.
So like it's such like it's such like a pain point for me in the country because of like the state of it. But I think that's why like I carried that project on my head
Mm.
and I actually like took my time on it.
Yeah.
So I don't remember the exact wordings of the article, but I know like the whole point of the article was just to say what's the state of employment, is there some data to back it up,
Yeah.
and I think some recommendations as to what could be done to maybe improve that in the country.
From your standpoint now, because obviously 2018 was different and now 2022, 2024, damn,
Mm.
2024 is different. What do you think has gotten worse or gotten better when it comes to youth unemployment in
Yeah,
Nigeria?
it's even worse, most likely.
Yeah.
It's 100% worse. I haven't done my research, but I know it's definitely worse
Yeah.
because the state of the country has gone much, much worse.
Yeah.
Firstly, schools are closed more time than they're open, so people aren't even finishing school. So
Mm-hmm.
people aren't even, they don't have a chance to be employed, but they're still in school, they're still stuck in school.
Yeah.
Because I have friends that, they went to school in Nigeria, we started at the same time. Some of them are still in third year,
Damn.
they're stuck. Like, they go on a strike 6 months, that's half a
Mm.
year gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like things are they're getting even worse. I don't know what to say concerning that. Just hope for the best, most likely.
Yeah. If you were in a position to stand in power and make a change about youth unemployment, what is the first thing you would do?
Just keep the schools open. Like first thing, just let people actually just keep the schools open. And probably like because the thing about like let's say like the Nigerian, let me say give an example of the civil service. There are some people there that the retirement age should be 60, but it's not really enforced.
Mm.
And so like that stagnates the performance of the civil service because they refuse to adopt technology
Yeah.
in some of those because like I'm too old for this.
Mm.
If you're too old, you're not even retired and be on pension. You're taking up the space that somebody who is young and energetic can come and feel brighter years.
Yeah.
You have nothing like more to offer.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing is, enforce that retirement age. Make sure that the pension, because the reason why most of these people don't want to retire for the pension is probably not good.
It's not moving.
It's not good,
Yeah.
and you might not even be given your pension.
Yeah.
You make the pension, better, and make sure that these people actually pay, enforce that, and then you see like how quickly jobs could open up. And also the problem of tribalism is also like a huge problem as to why people aren't hired like who can hire you because you're from here. So there's a lot of also like discrimination amongst Nigerians, and that's actually probably like the biggest problem in the country. But I don't know what can fix that. That's like societal problem. That's for people to fix it themselves. I don't know what can. But like that's just some of like, the tiny things I think I would do in order to address that problem.
Okay. Now let's flip it. From a non-governmental perspective, what is something that you think the generation that we are in right now could do actively to make their own lives better instead of waiting for the government to make the change?
Um, in as much as the let's say the government isn't doing the best, I think you should try your much possible to do the best for yourself
Mm-hmm.
because before you get the government doing the best, you need to do the actual best for yourself
Yeah.
and focus on yourself and try and push yourself to like the limit. And then if you see that you're blocked by something which is beyond your control,
Yeah.
there you can say, I did my hardest,
Mm.
but it is out of my hand.
Yeah.
But then if you're the person holding yourself back, then you have yourself to blame.
Yeah.
So never have yourself to blame for something that is deep. Know that I gave it like 100%,
Yeah.
and then things don't always work out. And that's that is the truth. Things do not always work out.
Yeah.
You can get rejected. It's normal. Just keep on going, and sooner or later, hopefully, something will click for you.
Yeah. Because I saw a comical thing in a magazine, probably a newspaper. The fire was burning behind, and in front of them, they were pointing a finger at like a small building where it was written like, parliament or the government. So now there are people that are looking from the other side, laughing at them because the fire is burning behind them, and they're trying to point at the government instead of fixing the actual problem that stands behind them. And that kind of ties onto what I just said. So we're about to close with the last questions, and the first one is, what is the greatest takeaway that you want people to take from your story or from this episode?
Greatest takeaway is that there's no one who is in charge of like your career, your life, except yourself.
Yeah.
That is that's like the number one takeaway. And then if I want to go into like a more career like technical focus takeaway, I would say that you should focus on knowing what to do before you knowing how to do it. Focus on like understand the theoretical of things
Yeah.
before jumping into the technical of things. Don't just jump into your ID, start writing code. Actually understand what's the end goal before you jump into it. So that like two things that give like more career focus one and then the two things I would say.
How do you better yourself personally?
I like to learn. So I'm always trying to constantly learn and I ask a lot of questions.
Mm.
To senior members, I am always in their DMs and Slack asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to like I ask them if I can collaborate with them on some of the tasks they're doing. I contribute to like their PRs, their code, even if I don't do it well, I just want to contribute. And then he will show me how to do it. That's the ownership of the matter.
Yeah.
Because I have in this current like 2 years of it, not 2 years, 2 years of experience in this current role.
Yeah.
And he has 17 years of experience at doing strict business intelligence. So you can't compare what you can learn from this guy. So even like every time we work on something together, he tells me something.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like a way to format your, he tells me something new each time. So I ask a lot of questions. That's when like curiosity is so important.
I say a lot of people have lost their curiosity in life. Because for you to be able to ask a question, you need to one, humble yourself, and two, you need to also accept that you don't know everything. Most of the time people feel like they know everything. So I don't really need another person's expertise and stuff like that. And the last question is, what's your next project? Career wise, personally.
My next project currently, let's talk like what I'm doing next time on job or career wise. Actually, well, I'm doing something with my friend where we're currently working on like a data engineering course.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the course, we're probably going to build a project, which is probably going to deal with, we're going to make it sports related.
Yeah.
So we're going to do some data ingestion using sports data, processing, load it in a data warehouse, and then do some reporting with like a business intelligence tool, maybe uh, Looker Studio, Tableau or something. So that's like, we're going to build like a pipeline.
Okay.
When we're done with the course, we do the project. Like that's my next exciting thing. We've done something similar like that, but now we're going to like make it tenfold, make it because the last time we did it, it wasn't real time data.
Yeah.
It was data that's going to be there. So this time, I probably wanted to make it real time, meaning that streaming, it's updating,
Yeah.
like live. So maybe a goal comes in, it's processed and whatnot. So that's like
Mm-hmm.
our next project or something like that. Probably before the end of the year, we should have that up and running.
What about personally?
Personally, that's personal because we're working on like our self improvement together. So that's like a personal goal for me. Or do you have like another meaning of personally?
Sounds like work.
For me, that's personal. Well, okay, personally, okay, I have a lot of goals this year. Actually, one of my goals this year is to get back 100% in the gym. I'm on a cut right now at the gym. So, like, I'm trying to cut, lean up right now. I'm a buff guy, but like, trying to lean up. That's a gym goal for the year.
Yeah.
Another goal is to read more, like, read a lot more books.
Yeah.
So, I have those two goals this year. It's like personal goals. Obviously, to build like better relationships with my friends, like Stanley here. I have like goals with that.
That's good. At least you have like a nice, sweet balance of everything. So, would you like to add anything? Is there anything you feel like I should have asked you that you are anticipating for me to ask? Because when I tell people, hey, I want to do a podcast with you, they have an expectation of what they think I should ask. And sometimes you already prepare yourself on that one question waiting for me to ask.
I actually came here very empty headed.
Really?
I'm just ready to answer any question you ask me.
Yeah.
Because every question, just answer. If I can't answer it, you say pass. But luckily, I had an answer for everything. I didn't come here with any expectations of any person. Just I didn't even ask for the script
Script, yeah.
before. Just till I came here, I didn't even bother because I just came here ready to have podcasts are meant to be not scripted. They should more of like a conversation.
Yeah,
So
true.
yeah. So
Okay, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for choosing to share your story because a lot of people may not really know what you do. Because I think when I met you, what were we doing? I think it was on a very friendship based level. I didn't really know who you are until I checked on LinkedIn. I was like, oh, so he just does not do that. Because what were we doing? I think it was entertainment.
yeah.
And I saw his LinkedIn and I said, oh, he's a serious person in real life. So I think just shedding light on the fact that just because you see someone and they look like small person, it doesn't mean that they're a small person in real life. When they step into the workplace from Monday to Friday, they are actually real people that made huge changes in the industry. And thank you, man, because the things that you do will probably contribute, not will contribute to something eventually. Because I tell people one of the things that I'm looking forward to is seeing how people, especially Africans, navigate the industry of technology and how they bring back a change into the continent in itself. Because people like you, whether you like it or not, are like inspirational to somebody. For you to host a webinar or a seminar and people ask you multiple questions from different ages, that's crazy, you know? And yeah, you should celebrate that sometimes. Do you celebrate that? Do you ever think of the fact that, wow, I've actually achieved something?
Sometimes I don't, but people remind me. People tell me that you you're doing good. Like I'm proud of you because after my wedding, my parents texted. They were attending it. My mom was like, "I am chilling with Nnadi. I am his mother." And she was there in the
I
comments.
love
She was in the
that.
comments, saying I'm a doctor. I'm Doctor This. I'm
Uh-huh.
Ugo's mother. Something like that, like that. So my parents they do tell me because my parents, my dad and my mom, were like, "We are proud. We have good children. We're
Mm.
happy of you guys. We are proud parents."
Yeah.
They never cease to say they're like we hit the jackpot with the children.
Yeah.
So like yeah, I get that from my parents.
That's good. I feel like, not I feel, you've done very well. From listening to you in an hour, I've probably learned so much about the areas in my life that I need to fix up and, turn it around because people like Ugo are doing big things. But yeah, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story and giving us more insights on what it looks like to be a data enthusiast, as you call yourself. And we look forward to see what you would do in the future. And congratulations on your new role.
Thank you so much, and it's been nice having this conversation.
Okay, guys, if you're listening to this minute, it means that you've gotten to the end of the episode, and thank you for tagging along with us and listening to Ugo's story. Don't remember, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to first screenshot it and post it on your social media platform and tag the It Tribe, and also follow Ugo on his social media handles on the description box and leave a comment below. Until next time, this is the It Tribe podcast, and I am your host, Liz Owino.